The girl Stella was considered an outcast in the class. Somehow it happened that they bullied her, as well as another boy. Stella was bullied more by girls, and that boy was bullied more by boys. Marina was shaking from all this. She began to get sick a lot. She bullied Stella less and less. Others also preferred not to offend her anymore. Stella kept only one notebook for insults from Marina. She did not record grievances from other classmates. But one day, one girl Marina's henchwoman said a very offensive word during recess. She said it somehow strangely out of the blue. Stella realized that it was Marina who talked her into it. She immediately went out into the yard and drew a cross in her notebook. He goes into school and there this henchwoman is red and crying, and others calm her down. This girl then cried for 2 lessons. That's how Stella calmed down her classmates. No one bullied her anymore, and she even made some kind of girlfriends. Now Marina was making sure that no one was rude to Stella. But everyone felt that this story was not over. Although several months had already passed, summer was coming, but everyone was expecting trouble. The air, as they say, smelled of thunder. Indeed, one day, when Marina was standing and waiting for the green light, a huge truck skidded at the intersection. Its starboard side fell back, and some pieces of iron rained down on Marina. They crushed it into a cake, and these were not simple pieces of iron, but in the form of crosses and toes. These pieces of iron were taken to make a new beautiful fence out of them. The leader of the class was Marina, a large and strong, but ugly girl from a rich family. Her dad sold burned vodka, which often killed drunkards from their area. Mom didn't work. She had a lot of free time, and she often hung around at school and was a member of the parent committee in their class. She constantly suggested to her parents that they save money for something expensive, and other parents cursed her for this. Marina was a fool, but she only got A's and B's. Stella was from a poor family, and because of this, Marina often mocked her, calling her a beggar and an abuser. Although Stella bought clothes from regular stores, Marina claimed that Stella only bought clothes from second-hand stores. Allegedly, in their yard, an old grandmother wore a blouse for 10 years, and then Stella bought this blouse and now wears it. Marina loved to pull various things out of Stella's hands, supposedly to see. When Stella tried to forcefully return what she had, then Marina shouted that Stella was the first to fight. She gave Stella painful slaps in the face, hit her on the head, twisted her arms, pinched her, pushed her to the floor, and it always turned out that Stella herself was to blame. Others laugh, and the teacher teaches Stella how to behave. Once in class, Marina again ran into Stella, and she took and pulled out a notebook from her pocket, a small, cheap notebook with square pages. Stella took it and drew a cross in it, smiling. "What did you draw there?" Marina jumped up angrily. But Stella remained silent mysteriously and hid the notebook. And now, every time Marina offended her, Stella drew in her notebook. Either she would draw a cross or a zero. Sometimes there are several X's in a row. Sometimes there are O's. Although she was not loved, they began to show interest in her. Everyone tried to understand why she draws tic-tac-toe. Why are there sometimes crosses and sometimes zeros? This angered Marina most of all. She screamed and ordered me to explain what it all meant. And one day she snatched the notebook and left with it down the corridor along with her close friend sycophants. At the next break, Stella loudly and in front of everyone asked Marina to return the notebook. "Yeah, here's another one. I flushed it down the toilet. In my house, toilet paper is more expensive than your notepad." "Okay," Stella answered calmly and took her notebook out of her pocket. It was exactly the same. Stella opened it and all the tic-tac-toe were in place. Stella added a zero to them. This surprised everyone. Someone even suspected that she was a witch. since by some miracle she was able to return the notebook. After that, Marina stopped stealing Stella's other things. Now she was only attracted to the notebook. She stole it 5 more times afterwards, but each time Stella brought a different notebook from home the next day. It contained the same X's and O's for all past grievances. Haha, Marina once caught her, but I didn't throw away the notebooks. She specifically bought a lot of cheap notebooks to show that she was a witch. And Stella just smiled and drew a cross in her notebook. Then one day early on Sunday morning, she came across her classmate in the yard who was walking her dog. We started talking. She was also not a very good girl, but still better than Marina and her henchman. The girl asked to tell her in confidence what kind of crosses and toes they were. "And you won't tell anyone?" Stella asked. "I swear by my dog," answered the classmate. "Okay, I write down all my grievances so that I can't take revenge on Marina later. The more insults there are, the more evil my revenge will be." The next day, a terrible scandal broke out. Marina's mother went around and was hysterical that they wanted to kill her daughter, that this sick Stella should be put in prison in a madhouse in order to be isolated from normal children. They even called an urgent parent meeting and began interrogating Stella and her mother. Stella behaved very calmly. She said that she was just drawing crosses and toes. That's what she wanted. "Can't you draw your stinking tic-tac-toe at home?" the plump mother yelled. "Can, but I do not want. And your daughter stole 6 notebooks from me, and I bought them with my own money. Maybe you can't return this money to me." "She didn't steal," a plump woman yelled at the whole school. "She's protecting herself. You started it first. You write down your grievances. You want to take revenge on my daughter." "I didn't tell this to anyone." "Of course," someone's mother said in a low voice. "There are so many tic-tac-toe in this notebook." So Marina decided that they wanted to kill her. The scandal continued for several days. No one has been able to prove that tic-tac-toe is a plan for revenge. Stella confessed to their classmate face to face. There were no other witnesses, and everyone knew that their relationship was bad. Maybe she came up with it. The teacher forbade Stella to take out her notebook at school, but during recess, Stella went out into the yard. There she took out a notebook and drew crosses and toes in it, and many saw it through the window.